Okay guys, so this project is going to be, I got the idea from my daughter. She was like, don't throw those away. You can make a skirt out of it. So that is what I'm going to do. So first things first, since I cut the waistband from the jeans, what we're going to do is we're going to make a new waist, and we're going to need elastic bands. So if you have elastic from something old, if you don't have a new one, you can get these from the craft store. So what we want to do is we want to measure where we want our skirt to end. Our skirt to be at our waist, and you also want to overlap it to have extra security as far as once you start threading it through the material, you want to make sure you have just enough. So you're going to need that elastic band. You're still going to need some scissors. You're still going to need your stick pins, your hot glue gun and glue sticks, and of course the discarded skirt. So first things first is we need to turn it inside out so that the waist, the outside is facing you. And what I did was I have already overlapped the material. I have already removed the pockets, so that is not going to be a problem. I have given myself like an inch and a half all the way around the waist, because I want to make sure that the elastic band, when I thread it through, will have plenty of space to be fed through the spacing of this makeshift jean. So like the top, this is also a no-sew method. So what I am going to do is I am going to slowly section, let me bend you down a little bit. Section by section, we will be tacking the material to itself using the hot glue gun. And right here, I'm just going by the seam. I am doing a little bit smooth and even. Try to make it even, that way you won't have lumps and bumps. I'm tapping it down and also pinching it on the opposite side, and by me spreading it out, it flattens out. And I will do that all the way around the full circumference up until a certain point, and I will be right back. Okay guys, so I have hot glued it all around the circumference of the waist. And I can't find a safety pin. It would make my life so much easier. So what I have done is put a little slit towards the end of my elastic, and I'm using a hairpin. Don't laugh at me. And to make sure it doesn't slip off, I am going to hot glue gun it on both sides, because I can always cut this piece off. So I'm going to let it cool off, and I'm going to be right back. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to lace this through the waist. And since the waist takes the longest, that's what we're going to take care of first. So as I said, I left the opening on purpose so that I can get back to it. And what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, I am pushing the hairpin through. If I had a safety pin, that's what it would have got pushed through the material. So I'm pushing the hairpin through, and that's also lacing, putting the elastic waist through the waist. So you can feel it, and you just guiding it through that space all the way around. So as soon as I finish doing that, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have looped it through the waistband where it is meeting, and it is elasticized all the way around. So I want you to remember one thing: you have cut the waistband off using something else. So now we're lower into the wider part of the jeans, which is the hip part of the jeans. And my suggestion would be to try it on to make sure it's tight enough for your waist. And this is the point where you take and make sure you secure the ends of your elastic, and this, now you can test it out to see if it's tight enough to your liking, if you need to tighten it more. And from that point on, you secure your elastic by overlapping it with the hot glue gun, and then you finish closing your product, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I have my skirt laid down. The hardest part was doing the waist. If you were able to keep your full legs intact, all you had to do is overlap, unstitch some of that middle inseam from the butt and the front, overlap it, glue it down, bam, you got a little split in the front and the back. However, I used a lot of my pants leg, and unfortunately I cannot do that. So I have some extra denim material that I measured and cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap, I'm going to line up my invisible seam with the seam of the middle of the pants. I'm going to line it up, eyeball it rather, because I'm not measuring anything. I'm getting frustrated, and it's been a long trial and error with this situation here, and I want to get it done. So I have everything smoothed out, and what I plan on doing is centering it and connecting it by hot glue gunning straight down the edges, making sure it overlaps just a little bit and cutting off the excess. So what I'm saying is this: I am hot glue gunning, making sure that I am not closing up the split so much that it's non-functional. I mean, I don't want to split in the back anyway, so but I just want to make sure that the material is tacked together. And the reason why I left so much on the sides is because I want to be able to fit the skirt, and sometimes when you don't measure right, it acts crazy, especially since I don't measure anything and I'm eyeballing. So I am going to finish this and I'll be right back. Okay, so my last step for the skirt is this. I have filled in that back piece by closing up, and depending on yourself, if you want the skirt to fit a little bit tighter, when you're overlapping the crotch seam, that will tighten it up. It will make it more like a pencil skirt. The more you invert it in, the tighter the skirt will be. So this is as far as my crotch situation will be, but it's kind of short in the front, so I will be adding another piece of fabric in that middle section. So I need to turn this once again inside out. I need to turn this inside out, and be mindful that you don't want to overlap your crotch seam just yet. And you have to remember which side the crotch seam is going. And so this is how the overlap will be on this side. So I'm going to secure that now. I'm securing the opposite side of that crotch seam. I hope I'm explaining that right. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a small piece of the material, lining up that center piece and just making it so that the opening is not as big. And when I'm done, you'll see the finished product.